Hi guys, welcome back to Beautiful Truth and a very happy new year to you. I cannot believe it's this time of year again and I am back doing my yearly favourites. So what I've decided to do this year is, because I tend to talk an awful lot in my videos and I have so many products I want to talk to you about, I decided to put it into 3 different videos. This one here, my very first one, is going to be about my favourite budget products of the year. Then I will do my favourite high-end products, and then, which is usually the favourite of all my videos that I put up in the year, I am going to do my disappointing products video. As many of you may know, this year has been quite an eventful year for me as I became a mom for the very first time. Mom, what am I? American? A mammy. I became a mammy for the very first time. And I have to say, I haven't gotten through as many products as I would normally get through in a year, because for the first 6 months of the year, I was pretty sick. And for the second 6 months of the year, I had no time. But I still managed to get a good few favourites for you. So I'm just going to get stuck right in and I'm going to start my very first budget-friendly favourite. So I'm going to start with the base first, and the first thing I'm going to talk to you about is primer, and the primer I'm going to talk about today is the Wet n Wild Coverall Primer. This primer costs absolute pittance and it is really good. I kind of find that what it's great for is it is that white creamy consistency rather than the silicone consistency, so I find it does soak into your skin pretty well. And what I find it good for is it does a decent job. Now, it's not a miracle worker, but it does a decent job of filling in pores, but it acts as a really good base for which your foundation can cling to. It costs less than €5, and I have to say, if you're in the market for a new primer, throw this into your trolley the next time you're doing your shopping, because it's worth giving a try. So my next 2 products are very similar, and they are not intentionally primers, but I use them as a primer if I'm looking for something to illuminate my skin. And the first one is the 17 Wow 3-Way Highlighter. Now, the reason why this is called a 3-way highlighter is it can be used in 3 different ways. It can be used on your face as kind of like a primer to give a really good glow. It can be used mixed in with your foundation to make a bit more of a matte foundation, that little bit more glowy. And then the third way it can be used as a highlighter on your cheeks. My 2 favourite ways to use this is on my skin, to brighten up my skin before I apply my foundation, and also mixed in with my foundation. I tend to mix this in with my foundation during the summer. This again is less than €15, and I just find that the colour of this, it's quite pinky pearlescent, so it gives a real kind of ethereal glow, I suppose is the way to describe it. Whereas the next one that I'm going to talk about is a little bit different, as this gives a bit more of a bronze glow, and it is the L'Oreal True Matched Highlighter. This can be used in the exact same way as the 17 one can. It can be used as a base, which I like to do. It can be used mixed in with your foundation, or again it can be used as a highlighter. And this is probably less suited to the paler girls. As you can see here, it is that little bit darker, so it's better for somebody who has a little bit more sallow skinned. I mix this in with foundations that are that little bit too light for me, because what it does is not only does it add that little bit of glow to the foundation, but it changes the colour just marginally. It darkens it up a tiny bit. So now that we have primers out of the way, the next thing I'm going to talk about is foundation. And one thing I will always say about foundation is what works for me might not necessarily work for you. However, this one seems to work for an awful lot of people, and it is the Pies, I think it's called, Long Cover Fluid Foundation. This is what I would call a high coverage foundation. It is definitely long wearing. Now, I always set my foundation and I will always wear a primer with it, so that will prolong the longevity of any foundation. But I just love the flawless finish that this gives. I find, like, I am getting that little bit older. I do have those fine lines creeping in. I definitely have a few wrinkles up here. I thought they were dehydration lines until I was informed when I was getting a facial. No, Sinead, they're wrinkles, girl. So yeah, I have to be very careful about what I put on my skin foundation wise, because there are foundations out there that will accentuate my wrinkles and make me look that little bit older, but this doesn't do that. I think it gives a beautiful flawless finish. It lasts really well, and I just like how it looks on the skin. I would say this is suited to most skin types, especially if you're on the oilier side. I'd say you definitely need to set it. If you're on the drier side, I really don't think it would cling to your skin, your dry patches. But again, it's very hard for me to say because I have got just fairly normal combination skin. I'm a little bit oily around here. I can't remember if I said the coverage, but it would be a medium to full coverage. It isn't a full coverage foundation. Again, I would say it is more of a high coverage. It's kind of my favourite word this year. I found it midsummer. Instead of saying full coverage, instead of saying medium to full, high coverage. My second foundation product is actually a CC cream, and it's the Bourjois CC 123 Perfect Cream. I love this for the days that you just don't want to be wearing an awful lot of makeup. I find that it really evens out the skin tone. It doesn't look like you have a lot of makeup on, and yet it doesn't look like you have no makeup on either. For me, where this came in really handy was during the summer, just after my little boy was born. I didn't have time for full face of makeup, nor could I face it in the heat, but at the same time I couldn't go without no makeup because I was having no sleep, and this really did the job. I got the shade Ivory, and it was probably a tiny bit too light for me, but again, if you mixed in the likes of the L'Oreal True Match with this, it would take it up that fraction of a shade for you. Alright, so concealer's next, and I could not do a budget favourites without including my beloved, my absolute beloved Maybelline Dark Circle Eraser. I just love this. This is a brand new one, but I swear I've literally gone through, I'd say 14 or 15 of these in the last few years. I know it's not new, as in new to 2016, but I really feel that everybody needs to have this in their arsenal. Now, what I will say about this is, for me, this is not one that I can use on its own. What I use it for is I put it underneath my eyes in a triangle to kind of highlight and take the dead kind of look from underneath my eyes. It will cancel out the darkness, but because my dark circles are particularly bad, I do have to put another concealer on it. But I can hear you say, then what's the point in using this if you have to put another concealer on it? The other concealer won't work as well without this underneath it, if you get me. So they both need each other. This needs something else. The other concealer needs this. I just can't live without this. End of story. If you don't have an awful lot of dark circles, you are going to love this. It's really creamy under the eyes as well. It won't settle in those fine lines. And the next one I use as more of a highlighting pen slash concealer, and it is the 17 Skin Wow Concealer. A lot of people says this is like the Touche Éclat. It's not. It really isn't. The only thing it has in common with the Touche Éclat is it looks like it has the same packaging. What I like about this again is it's quite brightening under the eyes. I use it, as I said, as a concealer pen, but at the same time it does do a decent job of hiding out those dark circles. This has got a little bit more of a peachy tone to it, which probably is why I find it great for the dark circle area. So I might as well stick with the face before I move on to the eyes, and the first thing I'm going to talk about is a highlighter. Now, this is a limited edition highlighter. However, what I will say is they seem to bring them out with different collections every so often, and it is the Wet n Wild Mega Glow Highlighter Bar. This is so beautiful. It is a beautiful champagne-y gold colour. It would work really well with most skin types. It doesn't look chunky on the skin. Instead, it gives just that beautiful glow. You don't look like you've whacked on an absolute load of highlighter like a disco ball. Instead, you look really glowy. Now, obviously, it does look like you've highlighter on, because that is what we're going for. But it's just really gorgeous. If you see this, grab it, because I know they are hard to get. My next product is for cheeks, and again it is from Wet n Wild, but Wet n Wild really killed it this year, and it is the Colour Icon blushers. If these were a high-end blush, you wouldn't bat an eyelid at paying any sort of money for them, because the colour payoff of these, the longevity of them, everything about them is just so beautiful. They blend so well into your skin. They just look gorgeous, and they're less than a fiver, I think. I'm brutal with prices. So the colour Rose Champagne, this one here, reminds me somewhat of MAC Margin. Now, it's not the same as MAC Margin, but it's kind of similar, as in it gives you that kind of, has she got blusher on, hasn't she got blusher on look. Instead, it gives like a real glowy kind of warm look to your cheeks. Whereas the next one, which is called Fantastic Plastic Pink, I mentioned this in a previous video, this is, the colour payoff on this is phenomenal. You really need to take a very light hand when you're using this, because otherwise you will end up looking like Aunt Sally. If you get it right, oh my god, the colour is just gorgeous. Really beautiful. So my next product actually isn't from a budget brand at all, but because it's only €15, I felt I could include it in this video. And this is a product I can't live without. I've been using this solid, I'd say, every day for about 6 months, and I swear to God, if you have not bought this, you need to buy it. It is incredible, and it is the Push Makeup Cream Eyeshadow in Rudy Nudie. Now, as you can see, I have actually very little of the product left because, as I said, I have been using it solid for 6 months, but it is still going. I have at least another 2 months using that. I find this to be an incredibly creamy eyeshadow base. I find it's so easy to apply. It doesn't dry out. Like, I used to love the MAC Paint Pot's Painterly Paint Pot, but it dried out and it got a little bit harder to apply. That doesn't happen with this. It's just so creamy and it glides onto your eyes. You can apply it thinly, you can apply it thickly, and what it will do is it will give your eyeshadow something to adhere to, and it means that the pigment and the colour payoff of your eyeshadow is going to be that much brighter. It will last longer, it won't crease. This is an absolute must. I really cannot say that enough. So my next product is one that's actually meant to be used as a highlighter, but I use it as an eyeshadow, and it is the Sleek Strobing Souffle in the colour Pink Opal. I find this is brilliant for giving you that splash of colour that is kind of a little bit shimmery but not chunky shimmery, more of a kind of iridescence to it. It lasts well, but you do need an eyeshadow primer underneath it. If you have very oily lids, this might crease a little bit on you, but sure, it's worth giving a go because it's very inexpensive. Next up, I'm going to talk brows, and it is an eyebrow pencil that I 100% hand on heart feel everybody needs in their collection, and it is the NYX Micro Brow Pencil. So this has a very thin pencil on one end that is absolutely brilliant for just sculpting out your brows, and then on the other end it has a really good spoolie. Now, if you've been following me for a while, you'll know I absolutely hate the word dupe. It drives me insane. To me, a dupe needs to have, it not only needs to look the same, but it needs to perform the same. It needs to have the same colour payoff, the same longevity. Everything needs to be the exact same, and it is very rare that there actually is a true dupe. A lot of bloggers just use it as clickbait. Make of that what you will, but that is what I believe wholeheartedly. People say this is a dupe, that's a dupe, and it's bloody well not a dupe. Okay, I'm going to get down off my high horse. However, what I am going to say is this is the closest thing I have ever come to a dupe, because this is more or less identical to the Anastasia Brow Wiz. I have the Anastasia Brow Wiz now, it's worn out now, so I can't really show you. The colour is the same, they act the same, they wear the same, and they're made supposedly in the Okay, so you'll have to excuse me for the outfit change and background change, but basically my camera cut out when I was recording, so I'm just re-recording the end of this after I filmed 2 other videos, so I'm so sorry for the change, but hopefully you won't mind. Anyway, I have 2 more products that I want to talk to you about. And the first up is a lip product, and this only came into my life maybe about a month and a half ago, but I absolutely love it and I've worn it again and again and again, and it is the Kiss Professional lipstick. It's a velvet matte lipstick in the colour London Fog. Now, what I really like about this colour, it is a perfect nude and it's just so handy for throwing on during the day when you're out and about. It doesn't need a whole heap of care being put on, and it wears really well. It's so comfortable on the lips. I wear it with MAC Whirl lip liner, or if you're looking for something a little bit more budget friendly in lip liners, NYX Mauve is quite similar to MAC Whirl. Another product, and it's actually a range of products that have come into my life and I love, and it is the So Sue lashes. Now, I can't remember which are the budget ones and which are the luxury ones, but basically, be it the expensive ones, which are, I think they're €20, or the budget ones which are around €6, these are an incredible range of lashes. I'm wearing them today. I'm wearing the Rosy lashes, which is this box. I find them really lightweight on the eyes. I find the €20 ones you can wear, like, I'd say 15 or 16 times if you keep them, like, if you keep them safe. The budget ones, the ones for about €6, I get a good 3-4 wears out of them. If you haven't tried these yet and you are a lash wearer, I swear to God, you will love them. My favourites are the Rosies, the Kims and the Katies. So my last product, actually is 2 products, but for me they come as a package, and it's the Cocoa Brown Kind shampoo and conditioner. Now, as I hold these up here, the water is actually dripping down my arms because I just pulled these from the shower. I use these all the time. Now, I'll talk about the shampoo first. Now, when it comes to shampoo, I tend to use a shampoo for 2 or 3 uses, and then I switch to my next one, then use that for 2 or 3 uses and switch to my next one. So I usually have 2 or 3 in rotation, and this is always in my rotation. I find it so good. It gets a really good lather up, it leaves your hair squeaky clean, it leaves a beautiful shine on your hair. It is said to be really good for those of you that suffer with sensitive scalp. I don't have a sensitive scalp, so I can't attest to that. However, there are so many of you that have come back to me after my review on these, which I will link down below, and said that it works really, really well on your sensitive scalp. What I really, really like about this is I am so lazy when it comes to washing my hair, because it takes feckin' ages for me to wash my hair because I have a lot of hair. I get a good 3 or 4 days without having to wash my hair again if I use this. I just find it really, really good. It is also safe on extensions. For me, however, the real star product in the Kind range is the conditioner. I have lost count as to the amount I've gone through of these. While this is in rotation, this is always in use. I have not, since this was released in June, I have not used another conditioner. Now, I only apply conditioner to my lengths and ends because I have extensions in. You can't actually apply conditioner to the bonds because if you do, it makes the bonds softer and they slide out. But this is so brilliant. I can't remember the price of these. I think they're about €3 or €4, maybe $3.50. If you were paying 15, 20 euro for this, you wouldn't bat an eyelid. It is fantastic, and together I just think they work as a brilliant team. I have my budget favourites of 2016, costume change and background change and everything. I hope you really enjoyed it. I am not normally a blogger that is known for using loads of budget products. However, this year I have found some real gems. It has really converted me to go into my local pharmacy and look through the budget products because there are so many good things out there that you don't have to spend a fortune on. Another one worth noting is the Maybelline, God, I can't remember the name of them, but there's Maybelline lipsticks, and I only got them the week or two before Christmas, and that's why I didn't include them in this, but my God, they are gorgeous on the lips, so comfortable. So go into Boots, go into your chemist and have a root around. You don't need to spend a fortune to find really good products. Anyway, I hope you all enjoyed. I would love if you could subscribe. Don't forget to leave a comment down below what you thought of the video, and I'll talk to you all soon. Bye bye.